The University of Portland proudly confers the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, on Malika Andrews of Oakland, California. Just 9 years after walking across this very stage to collect her undergraduate degree, Malika Andrews is now a leading, history-making figure in America's sports and media landscape. She serves as host of ESPN's pro basketball and tennis coverage and guest anchor on ABC's Good Morning America. In 2022, she made history as the first woman to host the NBA draft. Prior to joining ESPN, she held roles with the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. But it all began right here on the Bluff. Ms. Andrews served as editor-in-chief of UP's student newspaper, The Beacon, where she won numerous awards for her journalism. Absolutely. During that time at The Beacon, she set the stage for her already extraordinary professional career. She is widely regarded as a preeminent voice in sports journalism, and she represents the very best of UP on a national and international stage. It is the University of Portland's high honor to confer the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, on Malika Andrews. President Kelly has invited Malika to offer the 2026 commencement address, and so it is now my honor to invite Dr. Andrews to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kelly, and to the Board of Regents, to my fellow honorees. I am so inspired by your service, by what I've learned from you, and I am deeply grateful to be in your company. To my husband, I think, does this mean I get to go by Dr. Andrews now? Most importantly, to you, the University of Portland graduating class of 2026, congratulations, my friends. You made it. To the parents, to the grandparents, to the family here today, the friends who have become family, remember that a piece of today, of this accomplishment, it belongs to you as well. Now, I do feel the need to start with a confession, and not just because I'm a Jewish girl giving a commencement speech at a Catholic university. I felt a tremendous amount of pressure in trying to think of what I wanted to say to you today. In fact, the levels of procrastination that I reached in writing this speech, I haven't procrastinated like that since I had a paper due for Dr. Lovejoy's class and I went to Thirsty Thursdays at the tea room instead. Dr. Kelly, he actually called me about 18 months ago, right? And he asked me if I would give the commencement speech for the previous class. And I said, I don't know, it's the NBA playoffs. I'm probably gonna have a game that day. I'm likely going to be busy. There's 2 Game 7s today, by the way. So I said, no, I don't think I can do that. But really, I was nervous. But you all know this about Dr. Kelly, right? He's persistent. And it's very important to have people in your life who believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And so he called me again, and this time I was honest with him. I said, what is it that I could possibly say to these students? Do you remember what you told me? He told me, well, you tell the truth. So here we go. The truth is that I have been you, and not that long ago. I sat in these exact same seats in Chiles Center, wearing probably these exact same robes, although I've been assured that they've been washed. And I was nervous about the state of the world that I was walking into and my place in it. AI wasn't a big technology driver yet, but technology that was changing and changing quickly made the job market feel impossible. And there's a part of you, right, you're ready. You're ready to put all this, the University of Portland, behind you. And yet there's another part, right, that's going to miss the friendships that you've built, the certainty of your class schedule, even those perfect crispy fries at the Pilot House that you can't get anywhere else, by the way, so stock up right now. If that fear has taken up residency in your body, know that it was my tenant too. I felt that, and my message to you today is to stay the course. So I've worked at ESPN for almost a decade now, right? And so I get asked all the time, how did you know that sports and sports journalism, how did you know it was your passion? Passion is, everyone likes to use the word passion. Girl, please, I did not know what my passion was when I came to the University of Portland. So why did I choose the University of Portland? Well, I went to high school at a boarding school in Utah. I attended classes in a double-wide trailer, and my graduating class size, look around, my graduating class size was 6 people. And the University of Portland decided to give me double-wide trailer and academic scholarship. So I said, sure, yeah, University of Portland sounds great, UP it is. And I arrived at UP knowing just one thing, that I wanted to take the fewest statistics classes possible. And success, I only took one and I passed with flying C- colors. Okay, actually, I did know 2 things. I also knew that I loved to write, and maybe more importantly, right, than loving to write, I was good at it. And so my sophomore year, I joined the University of Portland student newspaper, The Beacon. And I actually, yeah, let me hear it for The Beacon. I actually wanted to be a news reporter, but the only opening that they had was in sports. You don't need a perfect dream, right? You need an opportunity. You need an open door that you can walk through, a place to start where you can be useful. It'll serve you, and it served me. But the moment that I got serious about sports journalism, and I quickly fell in love with the work that we were doing in that teeny little kind of dusty closet in the back of St. Mary's. But the moment that I fell in love with sports journalism, I was assigned to cover a soccer game here, right over there. And there was a player for the Pilots. His name was Jacob Hanlon. And during the game, Jacob Hanlon ran headfirst into the cement wall that borders Merlot Field. And he was down on the ground for several minutes, unconscious with a head injury, before an ambulance came and transported him to a local hospital. Now, most importantly, Jacob Hanlon, eventually, he was okay. But something else happened that day, right? Because of an interview that I went and I did with the then University of Portland's Director of Sports Medicine, that wall has since been padded to protect all future students. How freaking cool is that? That something I wrote, that my words could impact that sort of change, right? And from then, I was hooked. And so I graduated from the University of Portland with a 3-month internship to write for the New York Times sports department. And I was stoked. I was like, this is it. This is the beginning of my professional fairy tale. I am going to ride off into the sunset. And for a while, right, it was. 3 months turned into 6 months. 6 months turned into 9 months. And I was telling stories that really mattered. I covered the death of a high school football player from a concussion, from a head injury. I retraced the steps of Donald Trump and Stormy Daniels around a golf course in Lake Tahoe, because at the New York Times, it happened at a golf course, so that was considered sports. I covered a woman who was looking for a presidential pardon for her uncle, a black man who had had an improper relationship, according to the law, with a white woman. And at the end of those 9 months, I was approaching a year, and my boss, who I was so completely afraid of, by the way, he called me into his office, and I was like, yes, this is it. This is my moment. And he told me, you know, Malika, working for the New York Times, it's like a Supreme Court justice seat. It's a seat for life, and you're not ready. I was crushed. I went to a Benihana afterwards. You guys know the Benihanas where they're like flipping the hibachi all over the place? I was in anything but a flippin' hibachi mood. And I remember I was with a friend, and I asked him if anything that I could ever do in my life could possibly be impressive, because I wasn't working for the paper of record anymore. That's all I wanted to do. Could I be impressive? And the lesson that I wasn't ready to learn then, but I hope that you'll remember for when this comes up for you, is that your identity, it must be built to withstand losing the best thing on your resume. You must know, or experience will teach you, that you are a worthy, kind, capable, full human being through the learning curve of life. But at the time, I didn't know this, right? At the time, I felt like I had failed. But I had no choice, right? I had to pick myself back up. And so after working for the Chicago Tribune for a very short stint, ESPN hired me to be their NBA reporter covering the Midwest. And my chief assignment was to cover one of the best players in the world, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, he has some Milwaukee in here, okay. The Bucks, they had an incredible year that year, right? Giannis, he won his first Most Valuable Player award. I was finding my footing again. I was building good relationships with the players. They liked me. I was building good relationships with the staff. I was breaking news. But Milwaukee came up short that year. It was a really tough series in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Toronto Raptors, and they lost, right? And right at the end of the game, I wrote a story about Giannis's future in Milwaukee and what it was going to look like, right? And after that, we're all in a press conference room. And these press conferences, they're aired on national television, they're aired everywhere. And so it's my turn to ask a question. So I'm asking my question. And all the cameras swivel to me. I ask. The cameras, they swivel back to Giannis as he gets up angrily and he walks out of the room on me, on national television, right? I was mortified. I was publicly humiliated. I was trending online within minutes. And all of those same questions, they started coming up for me again. Am I even a good person, let alone a good reporter? What do people think of me? Because I read everywhere what they are saying about me. Am I even gonna still have a job? But 2 years later, I was handing Giannis the Larry O'Brien Trophy as he brought the first championship back to Milwaukee in 50 years, and I became the youngest ever sideline reporter to cover the NBA Finals. So what did I learn from that? My friends, the goal is not to avoid failure. It's to become someone that failure cannot shrink. Now, I didn't know that in the moment. In the moment, I was just sad and I was embarrassed, but the lessons that you are meant to learn in life, they will show up over and over again in different clothing until you are ready to wear them. I was asked by one of your peers, I was chatting with her to try to understand what exactly it was, class of 2026, that you all wanted to hear from me today. I was talking to Maggie Dapp. She's the editor of The Beacon this year. And she told me chiefly it's two things, right? Am I going to have a job? And am I going to be okay? I can't tell you exactly the way that this is all going to look. I can hand you the exact same playbook that I followed, and it may not look the same for you as it did for me. But what I have seen over and over again is the people who show up, are consistent, are willing to put in the work and walk through the open door, even if it's not the one that you're imagining, eventually they find their way. There's a young man, his name is Javier. And he started working at the ESPN offices where I work in Los Angeles in 2018. And he started working as a security guard, straight out of high school. Only one person in his family had ever gone to college. And he felt the need to help his parents out with mounting medical bills. And so I forget my ID badge a lot. And so he's often buzzing me in the morning, and he says, "Hi, Malika." I say, "Hi, Javier." He lets me in. At the end of the day, he says, "Bye, Malika." He oftentimes offers me something specific that he saw in the show. And 3 years go on like this, saying hello, goodbye every day. And after 3 years, Javier, he saw that my show was hiring. And so he applied. And today, Javier is one of the best young producers that we have on NBA Today. Javier didn't start with a perfect plan, right? He paid attention. He started exactly where he is. He built real knowledge, and when the door was opened, he was ready to walk through it. So let's return to Maggie's excellent question. Will you, the class of 2026, are you going to be okay? I am confident that you will be, and not by accident. Dream big, but be willing to put in the work. Pay attention to what you're already good at and what you are willing to get better at. Be relentlessly curious, because when the door opens and it's not the one you thought, you have two choices. Follow curiosity or follow fear. And the only question is, who do you want to be? You might get a dream internship and lose a dream internship. You might start at the front desk and have to pay your dues. You might find temporary fear when you drive out of here onto Willamette Boulevard and into your next chapter. But as my family likes to say, the universe only has 3 answers for you. Yes, not now, and don't worry, I've got something better for you. And the University of Portland prepared me for my toughest moments. I still lean on the mentor and the friendships that I built here when I find myself at my lowest, and you will too. I recently asked Pat Riley, one of the most decorated coaches in NBA history, what his definition of success was, so that I could share it with you all here today. And he told me, there is no one way to success. Success is the way. And he's absolutely right. There is no one path to success, no one road that guarantees arrival. Success is not a destination that is out there waiting for you. Success is every step you take that moves you in the right direction. It's the willingness to keep going through every turn, every setback, every unexpected detour. Today, you all step forward with so much more than just a fancy new diploma, although that's nice too. But you carry with you the lessons, the late nights, the questions that stretched you, the moments that challenged you. You also carry with you a community. Look around. They are so deeply proud of how far you've come and so very hopeful for where you are headed. So don't worry if the roadmap looks imperfect. Trust your inner compass and know that every step you take with intention, with integrity, with heart, know that that is success. You are on your way, class of 2026. Congratulations.